Hey.
Hey.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Welcome back. Thank you for
Hope
coming.
y'all surviving this cold. My bad.
I know. It's a cold ass
Damn.
week.
Yeah, it's cold as hell out here.
Ooh, it's a little tundra.
For real. But hope you're having a good week.
Yeah.
You having a great week, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. Sure. Okay. I'm doing something wrong, y'all. Anyway, today, community area number 31, moving right along, Lower West Side.
Yeah, buddy.
We did this with our friend Carlos in Pilsen.
That was a cold day too when we filmed this one.
That was
because we had pozole and it was perfect, and we sat outside in their little.
And what's crazy is it was windy. Remember, it was super windy. We were like, "Are we gonna be okay in this little thing?" But yeah, it was that was a cold day. Yeah. But the food was fantastic,
incredible.
We obviously not talking about the food, but we talking about Pilsen. Got a lot of fun history in that one.
So much fun history.
Also, inside of Lower West Side, you got the heart of Italy. Yeah. Which is very different now. Now that we know that there's another heart of Italy, right, all the way up north in Montclair. Exactly. That's how I say it.
That little,
you got to sound fancy, pinky out. But yeah, y'all go ahead and enjoy this one and listen up because it's a lot of fun stuff. Also, my boy Carlos, he was a little quiet on here, so the audio might be.
Anyone's quiet next to Dario.
Yeah, we was next to each other too.
Yeah,
all in his ear and shit. Anyway, y'all, go ahead and enjoy this. Hey.
I always sound like a nerd on pre-recorded things.
You really had this nerd.
That was very clear.
That
was really good.
Oh,
that was a good one.
I think everybody's very judgmental about their own voice, though.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't listen to anything I do.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm good.
But you're going to listen to this episode.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, and on that note, 77 Flavors is off and running. Let's get it.
This is the podcast where we visit all 77 of Chicago's historic neighborhoods and discuss their heritage and taste the amazing food.
And if you know anything about us, we love two things, food and Chicago, so I can't wait to burn this gas money.
You ready?
Let's get it.
This is the 77 Flavors of Chicago, the podcast.
Yo, we are back. Let me tell you something. That gas money line did not age well.
Yeah.
You weren't kidding. It just gets worse and worse.
It is.
But here's an insider note from someone in logistics that works with trucking. Okay. Next week, well, you're listening to this is already over. I don't know how it is the week you're in. But next week from the time of this recording, gas is about to go down 1% in price.
1%?
Yeah.
A whopping 1%.
One whopping 1%.
Wow.
Yeah, right. So what is that going to do?
It'll be a little cheaper.
I'm very confused about all this gas stuff because, I read something last night where they're, thinking about doing another, God, what are those checks called that we got?
Stimulus.
Stimulus checks.
Yeah.
Stimulus for gas. And I was like, can we just find a way to lower it?
Yeah, just pay the gas station so that it doesn't charge me that much.
But I did see that somebody proposed a bill, which I'm sure won't pass, that was we should charge the oil companies for this and give the money to the Americans from the oil companies. And I'm like, that's never going to happen because it sounds too cool.
Yeah, right. That ain't never going to happen.
In 10 years, we'll get some version of that.
Yeah.
Much later.
Yeah. Y'all, we jumped right into the topics.
Right.
We got serious real quick. That would be serious. Yeah. Dario.
Sarah.
And we are joined by Carlo, the guy who runs in Pilsen. Y'all make some noise for Carlo here.
Y'all make some noise. I think Dario sometimes forgets that he's not hosting a comedy show.
Hey,
he'll say something like, y'all give it up for, and it's just you and me and him.
Never know. Somebody named Carlo. Yo, that's my guy, Carlo. You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking for the other Carlo out there, too, because I've never met another Carlo.
Really?
So, yeah.
Hey, it's you.
I'm trying to think. I've met a lot of Carlos. But
I met a lot of Carlos, and I obviously get that all the time. People are like, are you sure? Did you forget the S?
Did you forget the S?
Right.
I've gotten are you Mexican? And I'm like,
wow. Wow.
What you mean?
My parents just
PSA,
like
don't
Italian
ask
names,
anyone.
But I have met people by my middle name, which is Giovanni. So a lot of people in Mexican-American culture use that name as well.
Okay. All right. So Giovanni is the middle name?
Yeah.
Okay. Carlo.
What's your last name and then your mother's maiden name? The
last 4 digits. That's all we need.
Yeah. And fingerprint here.
Yeah. So Carlo, why don't you go ahead and tell the people everything you do and what you got going on, how you got started running in Pilsen?
Cool. So I basically got started with just sharing photos of my neighborhood. So it started with like food and drinks originally on my personal social media, and I had a lot of friends that suggested that I start the Pilsen page. And honestly, I didn't think I could do it. I wasn't like, I had never done anything with like social media management or engagement. I just did it for my friends, you know, like shared that stuff. And eventually I quit drinking, and I was just like going on these daily walks, and I started taking a lot of photos of the neighborhood, and I collected a photo album, and I was like, what am I going to do with these? And I wanted to create a Pilsen account, but like that handle was already taken on Instagram. So I was like, oh, well, there goes that idea. And I never did anything with it. And then like, you know, a few things happened, and like one day I'm just like, oh, what if I just made my own handle and like hashtag? And then like, you know, I was really inspired a lot by like 2312 and like DNA info. Like those are two, you know, huge pages and sites that I like followed very closely for a long time, and I've done a lot of really cool and interesting things in the city and neighborhoods that I wouldn't have gone to. To do things, and I kind of wanted to just do something similar like that at that point. Eventually, I started sharing like, you know, some hiring opportunities and like local volunteering opportunities as well. And, you know, just the following got a little bit larger, and now I'm fortunate enough that, you know, my passion project does, you know, have some money behind it, you know, because there are some businesses that want, you know, just regular advertising within that, and, you know, that's pretty cool. So I'm just glad to be able to take photos of the neighborhood and honestly document like the difference. You know, it's changed so much every day, and you know, I'm doing my part to make sure that I preserve my portion of Mexican American culture in my own way. You know.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think it's really cool because, like, very similar to us, you are doing it just on the Pilsen scale, the neighborhood scale. So you're really doing 77 flavors of Chicago. Just one neighborhood. Just one neighborhood. And that just shows you how much it is in Chicago that you can have that much content in just one neighborhood. That's just one neighborhood of this city.
Right. So if for anyone listening that doesn't know this, Pilsen is a neighborhood inside
a community
area, which encompasses other. Not to talk to you like you're stupid. I'm sure you know.
By now,
in case you didn't know, Pilsen is not a community area; it's a neighborhood, which is so fascinating because one, there's so many stories to tell, and it really is like just walking down. Dario gets his haircut down the street.
Right down the street
from where we are right now.
Shout out to Chris Men's Barber Lounge.
And so like sometimes I'll come out with him, like if he's here on a Saturday, and I'll just like walk around. I'll get coffee, like I'll go into, and it's one of my favorite neighborhoods. Like, and I'll just like take pictures of the church, or like literally just walk around, like doing looking up. And
it's like a whole vibe, like for real. Like that saying really stays true here. Like there's so much culture, color everywhere. There's like such a wide, diverse range of people and backgrounds and beliefs, and like it's really rich in all of that right now, you know. So, but it's still really rich in Mexican culture, Mexican American culture, which it has been for like the past 60 years. So, you know, it is still ever changing, and you know, like I said, we're all doing our part to kind of preserve the Mexican American culture. You know? While welcoming the new as well, because you know.
It changes. We know what the big G word is, you know. We know about that. But you know, so you're from this area. You live in. I love the shirt.
He's
by the way,
actually not from this area.
Not from there. They're not from there. We talked about that before. But I love the shirt. And the reason why I really like the shirt is because it's just so it's artistic, and we're gonna get into it. Let the people see it. They see it.
It's a selection right across the street.
You know, right across. Y'all.
You know what's funny is I was looking across the street, and I saw them while Jai was parking the car, and then we got out the car, and you were parked behind us, and I was like, I swear I just saw this shirt somewhere. And I like,
you know what, they did just relaunch them again. So they're probably in the window. And I didn't even think about that.
And I was like, I just saw the shirt.
It just shows you how much pride.
That's the effect, though. I'm always
current.
Hey, look,
local business.
Boy, look at us. I forgot to take my shirt off, but we always repping. We always repping. You got to. I read somewhere. This is pretty a dope fact, man. If you run a business, which we are, each one of us individually, we are a business. How you gonna have a business and not talk about it? You know what I mean? So you got to rep all the time.
Absolutely.
It was crazy. So we were talking about speaking of business down here. I actually have been down in Pilsen a lot, more than I really realized in my lifetime. So I was telling you, I did my comedy literally down the street from where we are right now. I've had a couple shows at the Pilsen Art House. I got one of my tattoos, which was the Chicago Cubs World Series championship tattoo down here in Pilsen.
Where?
I forgot the name of it. It's changed now. So
it is. I remember walking into it, and it has a new owner.
Yeah, it got a new owner. Took over.
Omen. Maybe it's.
No, it's not Omen. I'll remember it. Studio One. Studio One.
They used to be on 18 and Miller, where the barbershop is, and now they're.
And it's changed.
I think it's Racine.
It's changed. So I got my tattoo there. Fun fact about the tattoo is I got it on the same day that the Cubs were giving their championship rings. Wow. When they were in Wrigley, that day, and I told the tattoo artist, I said, don't put the needle to my skin until the first ring is passed out. Wow. So for me, it was like I got my tattoo, at the same time they got their ring. So I'm that crazy Cubs fan, y'all.
That's awesome.
And then I get, like you said, I get my haircut right down the street from here over at Men's Barber Lounge, man. So a good portion.
Really quickly, two things. I got a tattoo at Studio One as well too, and it's one of my favorite ones. I've only gotten the one there so far, but it is my favorite. And then the other thing I was going to say, go Sox.
Oh no!
Come on, you know what? I can't even be mad.
No, honestly, the thing is though, I don't get upset about it or anything. I'm not like a diehard sports fan to begin with. Yeah. But to me, it's just like the Sox are so tied to the South Side.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up, just people always looking down at like now the South Side is a little cooler and people want to be there. And, drop that name where they live. And it was always kind of looked down on, and I like it for that reason. But I also have, my brother. We grew up in the exact same house, exact same parents, and he is a diehard Cubs fan, like no Sox at all.
Yeah.
And people are like, "How?" And I'm like, "Whatever." Like, and I talk to other friends that are like, they were the free games on WGN.
Yeah,
that's literally
ones you had to pay, and they're like, I used to watch with my grandpa, and I'm like, you know what? I can't hate on Chicago.
Yeah.
It is.
And I don't think a lot of people.
You told that story. You said that you grew up on the South Side, but you are a Cubs fan because it's what was on.
That's
TV.
what was on TV. It's not like I just one day was like, you know what? I like blue better than black. You know what I mean?
To be fair, until this day, you refuse to wear the Sox jersey.
Here's the thing. Because I'm loyal to my team. You know what I mean?
Do you think the Cubs would be like, you can't be here?
You've
worn a Sox jersey before.
I mean,
Look at me calling it a jersey, not a sports shirt.
Yeah, look at you. Look at you. You give for that.
Thank you so much. There's this
Fashion Friday.
Yeah, I hope they wouldn't get mad. I mean, if I had to do it for the podcast, I'm putting that Sox jersey on.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? If the Sox say, "Hey, look, we want y'all to come out opening pitch,"
If it was the Cubs or the Sox, obviously.
Hombres en crecimiento. Yo soy Luis Mercado y este podcast es un espacio de confianza para todos aquellos hombres que quieren aprender a superar sus inseguridades, pero no saben ni por dónde empezar.
En Hombres en Crecimiento descubrirás que el crecimiento personal no es cuestión de sacrificio y sufrimiento.
En este podcast aprenderás a simplificar tu vida, ordenar tu mente y, más importante, aprender a superar tus inseguridades.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to look, I think at this point they know we represent all 77 community areas.
Dario's points of views do not represent those of the podcast.
Look, I'm just saying. I feel like the Cubs and Sox wouldn't put us in that situation. Like I feel like they would be like, oh, they're universal.
Yeah,
Now, we at a bar. My boys that know me, they'd be like, hey, look, what's going on? I'm like, oh, go Cubs. It's different.
So where did you actually grow up?
So I grew up in what we talked about, like it's now referred to as West Inglewood.
Yeah.
When I was growing up over there, it was just Inglewood. But it was by 59th and Western. But
hey,
yeah, we
so sorry.
Exactly. Forever and ever.
Always.
And, we lived over there, and our block was made up of a lot of family members that purchased in the same neighborhood when they moved to the United States, and. So we grew up over there, but then my dad always worked in Pilsen his whole life, off of Blue Island and like Wood. And then, so we would come pick them up because we were like a one-car household. So like we would come as kids to like pick them up. So we spent a lot of our days here because we would like do our grocery shopping here and then hang out and do things and see people and eat something. So I was always here. And then, when it is, you're in your 20s in Chicago, you're kind of crashing places and stuff. I was always crashing with my friends in Pilsen, like for way too long.
Yeah.
So I was just here forever, and now I don't know. I think I moved here like 13 years ago or something like that.
So yeah,
you've been in a couple
here.
different blocks. So yeah, it's always felt like home. It's it's one of the places that my dad lived when he first moved to the United States. So he lived near like the Western and like Lexington Taylor area, and then also over here like on 18th Street. And then my mother, she's from like a little village area. So like she was born in Mexico, but she was raised over here, and so like she was raised over there. And back then we just called it La 26, it was different. So just like it feels like home. It feels cool. I like growing up in the city, I like always wanted to be closer to downtown. I didn't understand why everything was so separate and so far apart. And like there's some childhood dream inside of me that's also like, okay, like I'm literally like, I Google mapped it and I'm like in a car in like 7 minutes to Sears Tower, which is always going to be Sears Tower also. Right. And I'm like, I made it. Like this is where I wanted to live. And I'm like, and I get to know my neighbors and like learn their names, and it's such a great vibe. Yeah, it just is.
Yeah, it's dope. You said 59th and Western.
Yeah,
I grew up in 63rd, 62nd in Campbell, right off Western. Right right off Western. I
just drove past here the other day. The theater's gone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff gone.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's gone.
A lot of stuff gone.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, I like the Kennedy King upgrades. I know that was also kind of controversial for some people, but like, I went there for some classes as well too, and I think it was cool, and I think that was needed in the neighborhood, and hopefully they are able to control the G word again, and the spread there, because obviously
it's coming. It's coming, but
there's like a Whole Foods like a few blocks.
Yeah, it's right by there, and I think
that made news.
It was like part of it because of like the school, I think, or maybe another school nearby that had like a cooking program, and like don't quote me on that.
And it's you see a lot of like they shut down local grocery stores to like put up a Trader Joe's. We don't need more chocolate hummus. Like keep it moving. I have a quarrel with Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
they keep personal. They keep like gentrifying all of the Arabic food into like desserts. Like no, do not buy chocolate hummus from Trader Joe's.
She been on that kick for a little while. Yeah,
she been on that. Blows my mind.
I actually like the store, but I don't go there that often. Like I said, we do. Imperfect produce, and then on top of that, I go to our local supermarket, Casa de Pueblo, like honestly, like 3 times a week at least. I'm not the kind of person that likes to spend a lot of time in grocery stores, so I'd rather go back multiple times for short trips. Get out, like find the shortest line.
This shit, you like going?
I love going, and I love going to different grocery stores for different things.
I like
so
to eat.
Like if I go grocery shopping, I'll go to. There's the Lebanese meat market on the north side that I really like, and then there's Edgewater Produce that has like really, really good produce. I think it's Mexican owned. And then I'll go to like Aldi for like my cleaning stuff, and so I'll like make multiple trips. I'll be gone for like 4 hours for grocery shopping. So
she will. I get all my Xbox time in.
And
or nap.
Right.
My girlfriend actually used to live in Andersonville and then Edgewater, so we used to go to those same stores right there, and just like that strip, and then there's like the Aldi on like Broadway. So good. Actually, like because I grew up so far south, and like because there was such a like negative feelings towards it. I was not really a big fan of the north side for a long time. And then it wasn't until I was like 19 or 20. I guess that's not that long, right? I was still pretty young. But I went to something in Rogers Park, and I was like, whoa,
way
this
up
neighborhood's lit. I'm like, okay, this is like the same vibe, but like the opposite. And like there were families and there was culture and there was college and whatever, but it was like a mix. And I was like, okay. And like little by little, like when I started dating my girlfriend, like I said, and she was in Andersonville, then Edgewater, like I was in those neighborhoods, and I was like, oh, there's some Mexican neighborhood restaurants on here that slap too. It's like, all right, this is good. It's cool.
It's wild because I had the same thought process. I just moved up here, and I do stand-up comedy, so I'm the last 6 years I've been up on the north side, but I just moved out to the north side. And I'm telling you, it's different. You know what I mean? It was different for me because I'm like, man, I know the south side real easy. You know what I mean? Like 79th, Polina, 62nd, Campbell, all that. But coming up here is way different. You do the same thing. You're like, oh, that's good. And that's good food up here. It's, but
they got some eye.
What I mean? But it's really dope to kind of see how that perspective changed coming from the south side to the north side. We do a lot of reminiscing, man. We take it. We do a lot of reminiscing. I like it. I love it. What's cool is a lot of things we said builds to what
to what Pilsen, is. And this episode, not necessarily just about Pilsen. It is also about the Lower West Side, and that's where we start the show. So, y'all, before we get going, I think everybody else knows what's up. But, Carlo, this is how we get ready. Emotionally, because we're about to learn some stuff. Okay. That is how we get ready.
Like a little baby body roll.
Yeah.
I was raised in the 90s.
You get
a little R&B in there.
I read this. I saw this meme the other day that says, what's the name of the school bus?
Magic School Bus.
Magic School Bus could be up your butt right now and you wouldn't even know.
For real.
It's real. Miss Frizzle all up in.
She could be all up in you and you wouldn't even know.
Miss Frizzle all up inside you, y'all, we are on the Lower West Side and community area number 31.
Hey.
Number 31. And it is not Pilsen, for those that Pilsen is not the community area.
I really thought Pilsen was the community area.
I know a lot of people probably did think Pilsen was a community area. It is not. It is Lower West Side. We're going to tell you all about it because there's some very fun facts about this whole community area. First, the boundaries. To the north, we got the railroad tracks at 16th. To the south, we got Chicago River South Branch and Stevenson Expressway, 55 for those that's coming out southwest. And to the east, we got Chicago River South Branch by itself. To the west, we got the railroad tracks at Campbell. And the neighborhood.
Those railroad tracks just go.
Yeah, they play a big factor in this community
Chicago
area.
History.
Yeah, they play a big factor. The neighborhoods, Heart of Italy, Heart of Chicago, Heart of Italy. Asterisk. I'll get to that in a second. Heart of Chicago.
Controversial. I'm going to stay on the list.
Just the asterisk. But a good asterisk, not a bad one. South Water Market, East Pilsen, and Pilsen. And how did this?
So I didn't know there was an East Pilsen and a Pilsen.
Yeah. There is.
That's a whole other thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't get into it. To me, it's kind of all one Pilsen. Like, if you look at a map, I think it might be from like Peoria or maybe after Boston or like right after to Canal. It technically is called like East Pilsen on a map.
Yeah.
To me, I just consider it all one.
It's all one.
For me, I'm like, Western to Canal. Gotcha.
I 100% agree. Yeah. I'm glad we're talking about names because, this community area is called Lower West Side, and we've always given a derivative of, where the community area got its name. And this community area is all about names. Where did this name come from? Simply put, it's lower than the West Side. So that's why it's called.
But it's not South Side.
But it's not South. It's not. That's what we're talking about.
South of Madison. Yeah. But not South.
But it's not South. So,
but to some people it is South Side, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like, I like I said, when it comes to that, everybody, I'm just like, whether you want to
call it what you want to call it.
Pilsen, Lower West Side, Heart of Chicago, like
whatever,
Southwest Side.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that grew up here that all feel very different. So I'm like, how are we ever going to come to something? Right. But I think as long as everybody, they're like 18th and Cermak, and that's like exactly. That's kind of how we function.
Yeah, that's the fun. Yeah. But now, as far as the neighborhoods, the names do matter, and I think this one is very interesting. This community area is very interesting because the name is kind of how I'm going to tell the story of this community area this time around. We'll start with Pilsen. The whole area was populated by Germans, Irish, Italian,
Polish.
Yeah. The typicals, the usual suspects. But it makes a bit of a difference this time around. This was like an entry point. Okay, so if you look at it on the map, and because of the river, because of the railroads, this was an entry port. For immigrants to come into the city and make a living, and a lot of people made a living off of the river being right where it is. A lot of industry and such. Why do I do that?
I don't know.
I've been doing.
What's your favorite word?
Yeah, now all of a sudden, I don't know why I've been doing and such. No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I've been doing and such.
It works.
Yeah.
Are you calling it slacks though too?
No. I ain't made it there yet.
Cool.
I ain't made it there yet. Please don't let me, Lord.
Control.
But so they made immigrants entry port came here, right? the Bohemians also settled into the area, into the oldest sector, right, of Lower West Side. They settled in here, and they called it Pilsen, based off of the Czech city Pilsen. Yeah. So if you look up Pilsen, it is a Czech city.
I did look it up, and I did get a Czech city. Yeah. I was like, what is wrong, Pilsen?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's somewhere in the Czech Republic named after Chicago?
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. That's so Chicago.
It's funny because like once in a while, like people from the Czech Republic will like tag me and things, and they didn't mean to, and I'm like, wrong Pilsen, but also say Pilsen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm going to share your thing.
Yeah. I like
we
it.
got your name. We got our name from you, so.
Right.
So here's some interesting things about the Czech city Pilsen. Did you know it is known for Pilsner beer?
Oh,
I did know that.
You did know that?
I did not know that.
Okay, let me keep on going because I'm gonna try to stump.
But I used to drink a lot.
Okay.
Chicago,
Yeah. we gonna talk about that too.
Yeah.
Did you know it was a pale ale, and the first pale ale was created in the Czech city Pilsen?
I did not know that at all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the first one, and it's Pilsner Urquell, and it's still produced today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
awesome.
out of this.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there you go. Look, 1 point, Dario. Yeah.
There you go.
1 point, Dario. I feel like I got a few more coins coming here because like I did some
excited.
deep diving here. So there y'all go.
Don't say that because someone's going to be like, you didn't dive deep enough?
Well, let them keep going.
There's always more to add.
It's
like,
always
people on the internet drink it. It's like, I mean, I'm trying to fit as much as I can,
Yeah.
a little bit amount.
30 minutes.
It's not all of it. I didn't say it's all of it. It's the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to move here. Right?
Yeah.
So there's Pilsen. Okay, so that's how Pilsen kind of came about. Now let's talk about the South Water Market. Okay, so the South Water Market, the name kind of comes from exactly what it was. It was on the river, right? It was a area by the river that they had a lot of manufactured immigrants worked, and trades, happened, and things like that. Trades as in work. It all happened right there. Businesses. They even had like sweatshops and shit, all the stuff down there. You know what I mean? Like they were working. So that area, simply put, called South Water Market. South Water Market. Now, here's some fun fact. You say you used to drink a lot, and we talked about the Pilsner beer. Did you know that one of the oldest breweries in Chicago is actually in Lower West Side community area?
Is it the Schlitz one? Not Schlitz. It's
you
something. It's the one by 18th Street.
There you go. I'm gonna give you a point.
It's man, I really can't.
I got you. It is the Schoenhofen brewery.
Yep.
Yeah,
German.
Yeah, it's German. So it was built in 1862 on 18th.
Damn.
That building is insane.
Yes.
1862.
1862 and on 18th and Canal. Here's some fun facts about that. Like I said, it was built in 1862. In the 1860s, this is how popular this beer was. It used to do 600 barrels per year. Now you think about that in 1862, 1860 in the 19th century. That's a lot of. I thought
there was something that it was against the law to drink.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. In 1910, they were over 1 million barrels a year.
What?
Yeah, 1 million barrels a year.
That's 50 years.
Yes.
What's the math? That was way too quick.
Yeah, that was 50. Yeah. That's
drinking.
Yeah, that's a lot of drinking. So the beer that really put them over the edge was the Edelweiss beer. Was their best product, and it sold ridiculously well. They survived. They survived World War II or World War I. I'm sorry, and the Prohibition. Now, how they survived Prohibition is just pure Chicago fashion. They hit it basically.
They lied. Yeah, okay.
Hanging out the side.
Yeah, Chicago. We are known for being creative in that sense. So,
when I was
I thought you were gonna say
18, there were like places in this neighborhood. Whatever, it's like a long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago. They're not around.
Show up at somebody's house and like buy police in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
like when we that was Chicago.
Yeah, and that's so Chicago.
Yeah.
To the point that So what they did was they basically kind of hid it because during the Prohibition, everybody was going dry. You know what I mean? Like we were like one of the only wet towns still around.
Really?
Yeah, we were the only. People knew, but the law didn't catch up to us. They eventually caught up to us, and because of the Edelweiss beer, it was doing so well. That beer would have still been going, and they had to shut down the buildings, and the old original buildings that were built in 1862, because they found out it was we were still wet and we should have been dry, so they shut us down. Chicago.
Shutting down the party.
But here's some more facts about our brewery. Did you know the first Chicago brewery? Because I know somebody out there is wondering, and I was wondering myself, so I did some research. Anybody know the first Chicago brewery?
No idea.
Nope. Scholes and Haas in 1833. That is the first Chicago brewery in the city. And for those that don't know even further about Chicago and Chicago's brewery history, we are one of the top brewers in the world, not country. The world, one of the top.
That's nuts.
Yeah, Chicago.
I don't know if this fact still stands, but at one point it had the most breweries.
I think that was so. I was trying to find that out too, but I
don't think that still stands.
I don't think so too, but I don't think we're far off.
That's interesting because I feel like Milwaukee has a ton.
You would think
were in the game before us.
But I think Chicago.
Yeah. I don't know.
While we took that time out,
Yeah.
But Chicago's bigger, right?
Yes.
So and I think that the measure was per capita, so it wasn't.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think if I'm correct here,
is it by number of
I think it's by number. We were at one point we were number one.
Wow.
I know, and I can't tell if this was 2 years ago, a few years ago, the pandemic threw everything off, but we were number-wise number one as most breweries in the city.
Cool.
Now, I think a lot of that has changed because of the pandemic.
Right,
so, like we got things that shut down, unfortunately, sorry, but a lot of things shut down. So,
that's crazy because, like I said, I used to drink a lot, but I was a PBR and tequila person, that was me.
Yeah.
But I did go to a lot of breweries, and at least I don't remember.
We don't think about it.
Have been in the beginning, like I remember when. Lagunitas opened, and the Goose Island opened, and they moved, and they would have those awesome 312 events, and like that. And now there's a ton more. And because I don't drink, I don't know all the names, but and Revolution, another good throwback.
Yeah, huge in Chicago.
But I never realized it was that big. Wow.
Yeah. Another fun fact about Schoenhofen, that brewery you're talking about, and I tried to confirm this. I couldn't confirm it. Anybody out there, please, now is the time to fact check because I'm asking for it. I believe in the basement there was a well where they did all the the brewing and all that kind of stuff.
The brewery.
Yeah. So the only well and the oldest well in the city is also in Schaffenheim. Schaffenhofen.
That's
Schoenhofen.
I did not know that.
I know.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So somebody please confirm that. I'll probably confirm it before y'all get to it. But
they said if you could have confirmed it, why didn't you confirm it for this episode?
Right. Because I'm not going back and re-edit it. I'll tell you
You
that.
keep everybody guessing.
You know what I mean? I said what I said.
I give you the information I give you. You got to figure out the rest.
Y'all can figure out the rest. I did enough, man. Look at the guy pages, bro.
I'm doing book reports, adult life.
You know what I'm saying? What happened? Let me give you a point for that. I am doing book reports. I done did 44 book reports.
Damn, that is a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. I've outsourced the restaurant portion to our guests. I'm just like,
you talk about it.
You find a restaurant.
Me, I still research for like an hour and a half.
That way, because honestly, like if you look up Pilsen restaurants, something else is probably going to pop up first, and I wanted it to be somewhere that's pretty authentic.
Right. There's a lot of areas where I'll pick a place for sure, and most of the time I do. But a lot of the time, if I'm reaching out to someone from the community, I'm going to ask that person for a recommendation because you live here. Why would I
traveling within your city?
Right. Why would I choose something?
And we already know we did a Lincoln Park, the Lincoln Square episode. They tout you can eat. You can eat around the world in that community area, and in Chicago, you can definitely eat around the world and throughout this whole city.
In all 77 areas.
In all 77 community areas. Community. Now, so we got Pilsen, we got the South Water Market. What's next? Heart of Chicago. So the Heart of Chicago, did you know, it was settled by Italians that moved from Tuscany over in Milano, all overseas of Europe. So that's where they came from.
All overseas of Europe.
Yeah, my bad. You know what I was talking about.
I knew what he meant.
You know what I meant. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like giving my popcorn all these lessons.
Yeah. Man, look, I told you
with the timelines, remember, but I'm like, just let me hear it again.
Yeah, I got you. Some of the oldest buildings in Chicago are in Pilsen, are in the Lower West Side. To the point that in 1875, the streets were raised for new sewage system, 5 to 10 feet. They were raised. Some of the buildings are still below street level because they didn't want to change. They just said we're gonna keep it.
So they don't have sewer?
They got sewer, but not the point where they probably want it. You know?
Yeah. There's still some houses like that are still like lower.
Below.
Like there's a couple steps and like
you had to go down.
But yeah,
below.
And then there's some that like when I remember started going to parties from like 17, 18. There was like all these like it felt like planks, like deck things that were like, but it was over because you had to go over like that. What was originally the first floor underneath. It's so cool though.
So,
wow.
That's honestly what always was one of my favorite things about this neighborhood. Is like the architecture and like I've lived in so many different apartments and like some of them have been really tiny rooms and they're challenging spaces, but like as a creative, like it's always been fun for me to like figure out how to make it work,
how to make it good,
and like it's cool because then you walk down the street and you go to like the little, I call them tienditas, in the corner store, and like you go there and then it's like, oh man, they made their small space work for them.
Right.
The vibe too. It's like,
you're like, I could do this.
And like I love that. And like every apartment is like, it's like the buildings that I lived in. Like my apartments never look like any of the other units. And I'm like, all right, cool. I love this. It's so Chicago.
You better than them. Yeah. It's a competition for everything.
I know, right? Like just like those older buildings.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's Chicago.
The amenities and the things that newer buildings offer, for sure.
But that it just shows you how much Chicago you are, man. Like only real Chicagoans would be like, I love that old shit.
Someone's gonna be like, I'm a real Chicagoan and I don't love that old shit.
I'm not talking to you then. Yeah. Just
I think we can go back and forth with the real Chicagoan thing all the time because I'm like, I don't mess with snow. I hate it, man.
Really?
I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, but you're not a real. I'm like,
no, we real. We just don't like the shit.
You just put up with it because the summer is so great.
Yeah, Chicago summer is second to none.
I used to travel 90 minutes from Inglewood to my job on Michigan Avenue. Don't tell me I don't know about Chicago. Okay? I crossed a lot of neighborhoods.
That's crazy.
Heart of Chicago. So Italians moved in, right? So this was Heart of Chicago. Heart of Chicago is kind of like another entry port to the city, right? But where does Heart of Italy come in, right? Because we said the Italians moved into this area called Heart of Chicago. They have a strip that is really called Heart of Italy, and all it is restaurants, shops, and things like that. And the reason why it's nicknamed Heart of Italy, that's why I gave it the asterisk, because it's nicknamed Heart of Italy, because they wanted to preserve the heritage and the culture of that part of the land where they settled in Chicago. So that's why you have Heart of Chicago / Heart of Italy. There you go.
Yeah, it's a cool little area. Have you ever driven down it?
Yeah, I've been down there one time.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, I want to go.
Drive,
yeah, we'll definitely.
It's not very far, but it's definitely something cooler to see. Like during the day, I would say like during the summer, because it's so alive.
It's alive.
Forget like I said earlier, like I've lived in so many different blocks in this neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And, bunch of different stores and part of different little communities of that block, and like. It's just crazy to me when I walk through another block and I'm like, oh man, and like I never forgot that was there, right? Because like growing up in Chicago, like my dad used to take us there all the time or whatever. But it's just so cool that it's still alive there. Like because you have the Mexican culture on like 18th Street and Throwback, and there's just that strip where you're like, whoa, Am I really like a few blocks away?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And that's a beautiful part where people venture off, come down to the west side, come down to the south side. There's a lot of things. We're down to one neighborhood left in Lower West Side, and this is why I want to tell you why does Pilsen matter? And this neighborhood right here, whether it be East Pilsen or all Pilsen 1, listen to this. It's known as the Arts District, right? A lot of murals, a lot of paintings. If you go to the mosaics on the wall, it's very colorful. I took some pictures while we were out here too. Very, very colorful. And proud Mexican identity out here. So proud Mexican identity. You really can't stress it enough.
The Mexican Independence Parade, I hope that's coming back this year, but that is just a reminder of like what this neighborhood is. Yes, the Soul comes back in the summer.
Right now it's 18.
That one's on Throwback.
Yeah, that's on Throwback.
Insanely huge. But it's awesome. Carnival rides. music, Mexican food, Mexican street food.
Absolutely fun. Absolutely
That's
fun.
That's literally like one of the reasons. So I studied abroad in Mexico while I was in college. And I was like, I don't want to go back for the summer. I'll just stay and do an internship here. And I stayed. And then I was like, all right, I'm graduating in 9 months. I'm coming back. And then I moved back for 2 more years because it is like just so alive, so colorful. Everyone is so happy. Like no, some of the, and I lived in Querétaro, which is like, in the center, actually, it was like in the middle of. It's 2 hours north of Mexico City, so it's like in a smaller city, but it's in the middle of the country, and so people were going through it in certain parts of the city, but no one was unhappy. I mean, people were positive. People were enjoying their lives. They're like the little squares in the downtown city center. People were dancing. There was like banda every day. Like it was just.
That's awesome.
Incredible. Yeah.
I've been to a lot of different cities in Mexico, but it's been a long time since I've been to most of them. So like when we were younger, our parents would take us on vacations, and we still had some family over there now. I think most of them live like in border Texas states at this point. Last year we did go to Cabo, which I had never been to before, and I thought it was going to be crazier. I thought it was going to be wild, but maybe because of the pandemic, it was calm.
Yeah.
Or maybe the resort we chose was calm, and it was a great time. And it was actually more full of culture than I would have thought, to be honest. So it was really cool. We went to like the local things and things there. But my mom's actually from San Luis Potosí.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I visited.
I love San Luis.
It's just insanely beautiful. It's like cathedrals and color, and like they have this one carnival called La Feria, I believe. Get mad at me, internet, but I'm pretty sure it's called like a feria. Maybe my family just referred to it as La Feria, but it was just so iconic in my childhood memories of my grandfather and my grandparents taking us in general, and like that's the vibe I get from Fiesta del Sol. And just we don't visit Mexico as often as we used to, so like it's nice for me that my nephews that are growing up in Chicago get to experience that little bit of like Mexican celebration, like for real, and like festival status.
I think one thing that one of the trips we took was to San Luis, and we went a little north maybe, and we went whitewater raftings.
I didn't know about. I mean, that's like a year ago.
Me neither. I did not know that existed. I swear, at one point the river mellowed, and we were just sitting in the raft. One side on your right hand side, it's like the rainforest, and on the left, it's like. Think of the images that you think of, like the Swiss hills with grass and cows, and it was literally like that. I was like, how can one country have so much to see? And not even you don't even need to go to the entire. I mean, there's so much to see in Mexico. Like if you ever have an opportunity to go there, and you don't just have to go to the beach towns. And even if you go to the beach towns, you don't have to go to like Cancun and stuff like that.
Resort. You can go into the city.
Literally.
There's always going to be.
We went to Ixtapa, which is it's on the west coast, but it's like it's not so much so resorty. It's like local people go to vacation there, and we were there for 10 days. We rented a villa on the beach. There was 10 of us. We paid $100 each for 10 days.
What year
was
this?
No joke. 2016, 2017.
Definitely ain't doing that now. Not nowadays.
No, but I mean that's like
awesome,
what 5 years
that's
ago.
That's how you take it in. Like that's how you take it in.
Yeah,
that's
like,
insane.
When we did visit all those cities when I was younger, my parents took us on vacation for like 3.5 weeks, where we went to like different cities every 4 days. So I went to like Guadalajara, Morelia, San Luis Potosí, Juarez, Torreon.
Wow.
A lot more than I'm forgetting right now. But in my adult life, I've just been to like Cancun and Juarez and Cabo, like back to
But that's like so incredible to have gotten that experience.
Yeah,
like,
I'm really grateful for it. I'm like, also, how did my parents afford that? Like a month's vacation with 2 kids? Like,
there's different stimulus back then.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny that y'all taking this trip down memory lane here, because in East Pilsen, in the lower west side here, is the National Museum of Mexican Art. And here's some fun facts about the National Museum of Mexican Art. It was founded by Carlos Tortolero in 1982, 2 years before I was born. And at that time, they opened up in 1987, and it was named the Mexican Fine Arts Center Museum. Like I said, opened in 1987. Now, they were meant to provide positive influence on Mexican community. In 2001, I've been there one time, right? I've been there on a field trip as a kid, and I knew it was a different location. I did this. In 2001, they expanded to a new location, 48,000 square feet facility, in the heart, and right here in Pilsen, right in the heart of Pilsen.
It's right around the corner.
Yep,
it's across the street from the Pilsen Art House.
Yeah, right there. And in 2006, it was under a new name, which is we know it as the National Museum of Mexican Art. Here's why they changed the name. It is home to the country, to this America country's largest Mexican art collection, more than 18,000 pieces from ancient Mexico to the present. Had no clue. You knew that.
I did know that. I go there pretty often, though. Not often enough, I guess. So I didn't go there for I don't think I went there until I started this page, to be honest. Yeah. And then for a while, I was just going there really often and just kind of seeing the same things, but different days, the art hits you different ways, and it was just cool to have that. And it was also the idea of the fact that I knew that it was the largest collection in the United States, and I'm like, it's 7 blocks from my apartment.
That's insane.
And right here in Chicago. Right here.
But Chicago has a lot of these the largest
National Museum of this. And which is really dope. You say you went there all the time. It is the funny thing is it's the first Latino museum accredited by the American Alliance of Museums.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, you went there all the time, so it's open Tuesdays through Sunday, off on Mondays, off on Monday, close on Mondays.
A lot of things around here.
Like barbershops.
Yep. My barber is now open on Monday.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Chris one more time. Yeah. 10 to 5 p.m. And it's always free. Yep. So if you want to learn about some culture, about the Mexican culture, man, come down here, man. Y'all, you really got to. It's the country's largest museum for Mexican art.
They have a special exhibition right now too that they're doing. It's the Frida Kahlo private collections of things that are going to be here for a while that just opened. So I actually haven't made it to see that. I've been there twice this year already, but I like to go off.
Yeah,
and we're gonna go to that.
I didn't go often during the pandemic.
Yeah. It's fun to go. I remember the first time I went. I think it was 7th grade on a field trip, and I went when it was at its old location.
Where was that?
It was somewhere. It was somewhere on the I want to say southwest side. I didn't write it down here, but I've always said, and this is honest to God, I was it was one of the museums that actually changed my whole thought process on museum, because I went in there and they had I remember had Day of the Dead stuff featured there, and I was that was the first time I seen Day of the Dead stuff, and I was yo, this is cool, because the art, and then you start doing the research on it, you understand what they were talking about and why it's Day of the Dead, and I was just so amazed. And it was the first museum, aside from the the big ones that we got here in Chicago, that I had gone to, and I'm yo, this actually shows culture, you know what I mean? And this is again the old location, but I haven't been to the new one, and I really cannot wait to get to
we're going now that Frida's there.
Yeah, Frida is her girl.
It's beautiful. It's I think the perfect size, the way it's separated into the rooms, they do a great job of curating those collections.
Yeah.
Personally, one of the reasons that I started going there a lot was, I can't remember this artist's name right now, and I hate myself for it, but I hate myself. I'm a little upset about it. There's just a lot of Mexican American artists there that they feature on that, and that's really important to me because I'm not Mexican. I'm Mexican American. It's a little bit different, and I remember the term Chicano being thrown around when I was younger, and I didn't really know what that meant. It took me a while to kind of get closer to my Mexican heritage, and it was the museum that helped a lot too, because it was one of the first places that I could see that I was oh, these are other Mexican Americans that have been able to do things and to figure out a way to make it work for them, most of them at least. But it really is a struggle, It's interesting because there's so many people always relatives, right, or friends trying to fact check me how many Vicente Fernandez songs do you know, and I'm how many Mexican artist names do you know?
Exactly.
We just know different things.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's crazy that
it's a family thing, though.
I was about to say.
I was going to say that
family will do that to you all the time.
That's such an interesting, I don't want to say juxtaposition, but it's so interesting if you're first generation or you frequently interact with relatives that live in Mexico and you live here, because I have relatives that do the same shit to me. They're you've lost part of who you are, you've lost part of your culture. It's like, no, I'm just, it's a whole new category that I fit into that is not the same. And that's fine. Both are valid. Like you don't, I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I kind of always,
people go,
like, I remind people,
family going to
I was born here. Yeah. And there's so much, like, pressure to, like, assimilate. Like, it took me a real long time to be close to my Mexican culture.
Yeah.
Right.
And it wasn't, I mean, I always spoke enough Spanish, and, I loved living in this neighborhood and whatever, but honestly, it was a lot to do with, like, me meeting my current girlfriend and, like, my partner for the last 10 years, and, like, she was really impressed by, like, the amount of Spanish. She was like, oh, like, when she would hear my family, like, knock me down for it, she was like, are you kidding me? Like, it's amazing you speak a second language.
For sure.
More of it. And she had already spoken before, like, in high school and in college, so we practiced it around the house. Both of our dogs have, like, Spanish names.
That's amazing.
We do a lot of things like that. But it's still funny because it's kind of a trip to my dad. It's interesting to, like, even older friends, like when I was still drinking before, they're like, hey, you speak more Spanish and you do Spanish things. And like, that's kind of weird.
Just let me live.
Right.
Yeah, let me live.
But it's funny because I'm like, the more I learn about Mexican and like culture and learn more about Spanish, I'm also like, oh, so I'm not really Mexican. That's, other shit that happens. So,
just a few more things that we get out here. Just 3 little fun facts.
You gotta stop saying "get out of here" because people are gonna be like, "I'm ready to."
Before I get out of here with the history, that's what I mean. The Gads Hills social settlement, founded in 1898, changed the name in 1916 to the 1898, right? I said 1898, right?
Okay, my astigmatism saw that it was 1889.
Oh, yeah, my bad. 1916, they changed the name to the Gads Hill Center, and it's still operating today. Yeah. And the reason why it operates kind of like, if you think back to, or anybody listen to us, or you listen back to the Chinatown episode where we talked about that, they have the center that helps immigrants kind of assimilate, you know what I mean, and kind of find their way around poverty, education, things like that. Just learn their way around a brand new city and brand new country, for a lot of people. So still here in Pilsen.
Yeah, and actually, I think they have a new location too. It might be in Brighton Park. I saw something about like a bigger one.
Yeah, I believe they did change. They just expanded. You know what I mean?
They were one of the first organizations that I started sharing like donation and volunteer opportunity things.
They do good things.
Yeah,
they do great things.
Been around forever.
Yeah, another place that's been around forever. Talia Hall. Talia Hall. It became also a national landmark in 1989, and it was built in 1892 by John Dusak. Designed to look like the old opera house in Prague. So pretty cool. Right there on the corner.
Because Prague, Czech.
You get it. All that.
I went to Prague. It's beautiful.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. You see the real thing?
And I was like, this is some Pilsen stuff. we were already like we were in Poland, and we were like, it's a train ride away. We gotta go check this out.
So it's incredible. And Talia was modeled right after that. It was built for arts and entertainment for the Czechs and the Bohemians that were in the area at the time. It closed to the public in the 1960s. It was reopened in 2013 for restoration and to bring back the original charm and character. And now it's still open to arts and all kind of entertainment, food and music and community.
Yeah, there's concerts, music festivals. There's like all up in wrestling that goes on there. I've gone to vaccination events. All they got it all. There's like a tack room on the side. There used to be like horse stables. The bar.
Wow.
So the doors like swing open, and they do awesome things with like live musicians during the summer where they do like concerts in the street. And, they encourage like the neighbors to like bring lawn chairs and just hang out and have like a neighborhood block party.
That's
and
awesome.
It's cool.
And there's the three spots in there, the basements and all throughout there. They still preserve exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, and they're all a different vibe. I mean, I've been there so many different times, like Talia Hall, they have like seasonal menus, and it's just really great food. To me, I'm like, can I go to the West Loop first?
Right.
Like it's good, it is good. And then there's like Punch House, which I don't really go out that late anymore, but it is a great place to be, at night for just like records and great music and dancing.
Wow.
Like they have great quality punch drinks. So
Talia Hall, y'all got to come down here right on 18th. And then finally, Here's a very fun fact for all Chicagoans and all people who's going to recognize his name. Do you know who was born and raised here in Lower West Side? Anybody take a guess out there? I'm gonna give you a few seconds. Y'all got it? Big famous name here in Chicago.
I can't remember. Is it the Ugly Betty girl?
No. No. Actually, but I don't know.
She's America Ferrera.
America Ferrera.
Yeah, I know. I know she's from
really?
here. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, America Ferrera. But not the person I was thinking of.
Yeah.
George Hallis. Who, yes, born and raised here in Lower West Side. And if y'all don't know who George Hallis is, let me take you down a little history lesson here. In 1920, Papa Bear Hallis started the Decatur Staleys. In 1921, a year later, he moved them from Decatur to Chicago, and they played in Wrigley Field. And at that point, he changed the name of the Decatur Staleys to the Chicago Bears. Do you know why he?
You said Wrigley Field.
Yeah, do you know why he changed the name to Chicago Bears? To honor the Chicago Cubs because they played in the same stadium at one point.
Okay, I get it.
Yes, he was the coach all the way up until 1967 and remained the CEO until 1983, until he died. He died in 1983. And the Bears moved to Soldier Field in 1971, where they remain today. Hopefully for some more time they
how did they play football at a Wrigley Field?
They played it like they would. It was very tight in there, you know.
That's not even the
very, very, very tight.
That's not the size of. I don't even know football, and I know that's not the size of
it's
football
really
field.
small, like compared to that.
So Northwestern has played several games there.
What?
Northwestern last year actually they played in Wrigley Field, and they had both goalposts. Before, what they did was they had both teams went the same direction because the goalposts could fit, and each team played in the direction of the goalpost. So, the more you know.
That's pretty cool.
There you go.
I knew about the concerts, the baseball games, the ice skating rinks.
Let me give myself a coin for that. And that is the history, and that's why Pilsen matters. There you go. We had a lot. That was a lot. We gonna let that digest so we can eat some food because we are on location inside a very warm outdoor space that I'm sure had to be converted because of COVID. We're outside. What's the name of the restaurant? I know the name of it.
Taqueria El Mesquite.
Yeah, but I can't pronounce it like how you did.
18th and Wood.
Yeah, it just rolled off your tongue. We gonna take a little break right here, and we're gonna come back and talk about this delicious food, y'all. Man, this food was fire. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you loved that as much as we did. If you did enjoy it, that's amazing. Come back on Monday for a brand new episode or next Thursday for another rerun. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope you loved it.
And if you could, please follow us on social media at 77 Flavors Shy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
If you have any ideas or deep dives that you'd love us to do, please contact us at media@77flavorsshy. That's the number 77 flavors and shy for Chicago.com.
If you like visuals, please subscribe and follow and watch us on our YouTube channel at the same thing, 77 Flavors Shy, or search 77 Flavors of Chicago.
If you would like to support us monetarily, go ahead and click that Buzzsprout link in the description of this episode.
And as always, we gonna see you next week. Peace.